During the 21st Superhuman Olympics, one of the first matches is between Mind Puzzle Man from Norway and Kinnikuman from Hungary. Their fight literally is just them trying to solve each other, as Mind Puzzle Man is just a mind puzzle, like with those circles and stuff, and Kinnikuman is clearly a Rubik's Cube. They try to solve each other, and Kinnikuman wins by solving Mind Puzzle Man, because Mind Puzzle Man can't handle this new generation of toys. One page after this, the Dwarfs Man and T-Pac-Man fight begins. T-Pac-Man, with a teacup for a head and a T-Pac inside his head, is fighting Warsman, a Russian something. We don't exactly know what he is at this point, we just assume he's also a superhuman. And during their fight, Warsman stabs T-Pac-Man through his torso, decapitates him, drinks him, and cheers in victory. This is what Kinnikuman is all about. From humble beginnings, from an Ultraman parody gag manga, to a full-blown battle shonen, and Kinnikuman, to some, is known as the grandfather of all battle shonen. But not a lot of people in the West know what Kinnikuman is, or what he is about, or have even seen anything Kinnikuman aside from Kinnikuman Nisei, known in the West usually as Ultimate Muscle. In this video, I'm going to try to convince you to not watch the Netflix anime, but read the manga and then watch the Netflix anime. A common sentiment I've seen online is that the new anime is a great starting point. You can just start, there is a really good recap in there, and you'll be good to go. I don't agree with this. I tried it myself with my wife, and my wife was just confused the entire time and didn't enjoy anything. Then my wife started watching the original anime and started liking Kinnikuman a lot more. So what is so special about Kinnikuman that I want you to read this long manga with one of the, if not the longest arc in shonen battle history, longer than anything in JoJo's or even One Piece? Why would you want to read this? In my opinion, it's two main things: sincerity and creativity. Kinnikuman, first and foremost, is silly. A lot of the designs are silly, as you just saw with Cube Man, T-Pac Man. They are silly. But even these silly characters have their moments. They have their time in the spotlight. They have little heartful stories. They are characters in this silly comic book about Chojin, superhuman, Chojin I'm gonna start calling them now, fighting. And I think it's important to start when it was all silly and there was nothing really serious about it. To start right at the beginning, when it was just an Ultraman parody. Kinnikuman was originally conceived as the last Ultra Brother, born of an infidelity of Ultra Father, and it's just so silly. A lot of people don't even know Ultraman, but this chapter 0, as people call it, because it's not canon to the whole continuation of the manga, this was a one-shot before it got serialized, really puts into perspective what this manga was conceived as. In the actual serialization, Kinnikuman is so ugly, his parents confuse him for a pig, kick him out of a spaceship, and adopt a pig because they thought the pig was actually their son, Kinnikuman, and Kinnikuman is left as an orphan on Earth. And this sounds like the worst parents, this sounds like we should call child services, but the manga presents it all in a really silly way. And this is where Kinnikuman's story starts. He is a Chojin from outer space, but he is based in Japan. There is something weird in this manga that Chojin are based somewhere on Earth and represent that country, but they're basically all just aliens. So when I say that Cube Man is from Hungary, he technically is from Hungary and space at the same time. Don't worry about it. That's a big sentiment if Kinnikuman, just don't worry about it. During the beginning of this whole thing, we usually just follow Kinnikuman trying to fight a kaiju, and either someone else coming to defeat that kaiju or him accidentally defeating the kaiju by being just a bumbling idiot. You have your recurring characters like the main villain, Kinkotsuman, pseudo love interest in Mari, Terryman, and his love interest, Natsuko, meet, of course. They're all here just having their own hijinks, fighting kaiju. There's a little part where Kinnikuman is trying to impress an idol to no avail and ends up making the idol fall in love with her childhood friend who is in love with her, and usual gag manga things like that. And this is very important. Yes, Kinnikuman is very silly. Himself as a character is a bumbling idiot that gets manhandled, but when push comes to shove, kinda does know how to fight and fights back. Terryman is seen so strong, the kaiju are seen as genuine threats sometimes. Not as people are going to die threats, but maybe we won't win this time threats, little bit Power Ranger style, well, Ultraman, but way more silly. You see how these characters can receive a lot of punishment and also give it. And everything changes in the first Olympics, when Ramen Man and Broken Man are introduced. This is where I have to add a little addendum. Broken Man is a Nazi. He is an evil man. This manga does get a little problematic sometimes. This is the first time you'll probably see it front and center how problematic it can get. Gets kind of not as bad as this, or just as in some following chapters, but then it just stops. Don't worry about it. It actually stops. Trust me on this. During this Olympics, Ramen Man and Broken Man are treated with an air of mystery. We don't really know what their deal is, we just know that they're supposedly strong, but there's something about them and something around their circumstances that just doesn't add up. Why doesn't the chairman want to televise their matches? Why does he just want to radio broadcast them? Is it because the chairman just hates Kinnikuman, which he does? Or is there something else? And this is where Kinnikuman's turning point begins for most people. It's not where I would say it begins, I'll tell you where I think it begins, but this is where most people agree that the turning point for Kinnikuman is. In this fight, Ramen Man performs a camel collage on Broken Man and tears him in half, killing him right in front of everyone. He's just dead. And this is the first visceral act of violence that is treated with weight in the manga, and this is why people say it's the turning point, where it started to change into a battle shonen. But it's still in par with its origins as an Ultraman parody. If anyone knows about Ultraman, they know there is a strange visceral violence to it. Monsters sometimes don't just explode, sometimes they get cut in half. Ultramen sometimes get crucified. It gets strangely violent. So to me that's still par for the course, just a little shock value to spice it up. And now it's Kinnikuman's turn to fight Ramen Man, which the stakes are high. Ramen Man just killed what is considered a really strong Chojin. What is Kinnikuman gonna do? This fight gets silly again, funny enough, and the way Kinnikuman escapes from the camel clutch, I don't want to spoil that. I think that's one of the best parts of the whole manga. It's so stupid. So just read that, but eventually Kinnikuman wins in a silly fight. This fight is silly and is treated for mostly gags, even after Ramen Man did that to another living being. And with this victory, the bumbling idiot who no one expected nothing from is feeling great. He thinks he did everything he had to do. He defeated a really strong Chojin. He's celebrating. He doesn't care about fighting anymore. This is the peak of his career. And then Ramen Man needs to fight Terryman for third place. Right now Kinnikuman and Robin Mask are the finalists. Ramen Man fights dirty and gets disqualified, and when they're about to apprehend him, he starts crying. He says he fought with all his might against Kinnikuman and lost, and seeing him act like this means that that fight meant nothing. He wants to be proud of his fight against Kinnikuman. With this, Kinnikuman finds himself with new resolve. He is ready to fight the Chojin that defeated Ultraman in the last Olympics, Robin Mask. And this is the first seed of one of the words that you will read and hear about the most when talking about Kinnikuman: friendship. The power of friendship is something that has been clowned on for a long time. I've heard, correct me if I'm wrong, I've heard people say that Fairy Tail has one of the worst cases of power of friendship, where characters just win because I have friends. Same thing kind of happens with Naruto here and there from what I remember. And it's just something that is not said as a positive, that it is riddled with power of friendship. But Kinnikuman is so sincere about the power of friendship. It's so honest about its own belief that the bonds born in the battlefield make you a brother with someone you fought, that I just straight up believed it. When Ramen Man has that little change of heart, I believe it. I believe someone striving to be the best doesn't want the person that bested him to just give up trying. I genuinely believe that through the power of teamwork, 1 + 1 can equal 3, or even 4. And yes, it has its issues, like power of friendship does. How can always helping each other or always relying on someone else make you better at fighting or even as a person? And funny enough, this is actually touched upon when true friendship power is introduced. And most of the fights are so much fun and creative. Like Mammoth Man, he has abilities that kinda don't make any sense, but it's just so much fun to watch. And his match with "If a page burns, you get erased from history" is so tense and so riveting. Sometimes they fight inside a cyborg. Why can't they grow to tiny size to fight inside a cyborg? Don't worry about it. Why did they stop growing huge and they're now just fighting regular size? Don't worry about it. Why would these characters be able to access the magnetic power of Gaia and you need a key to close that in a natural keyhole occurring on Earth? Don't worry about it. It's very silly in its creativeness, but there's always something happening that will surprise you, some other ability that somehow, when you're reading it, it just makes sense. And with all this, it still has the same issues as a lot of modern shonen, or even old but not as old as Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball has the huge issue where, why do I care if anyone dies if they're just gonna bring them back with the Dragon Balls? In Kinnikuman, characters get brought back to life. Sometimes villains get brought back to life with no real explanation to it. They're just back and no one questions it. But the main reason why that works is that there is no bring back to life MacGuffin in Kinnikuman. It just happens sometimes because of the circumstances of the arc. But the characters don't know that. The characters genuinely see their friend's death as final. They died, even though as a reader you might be like, they'll probably be back. The characters don't actually know that, making their tears that much more genuine. And even when a villain gets brought back to life out of nowhere with no explanation, I can't even be angry, because I'm excited to see them fight again. Like one of the villains, I'm not gonna say which one, in one of the arcs, in the Devil Chojin arc, he only wins against this other Justice Chojin by cheating, and then he gets defeated. It's not that easy of a fight, but it's not a high stakes fight and it's one of the first ones, and he's kind of there to job. In the Perfect Origin arc, the one adapted by Netflix, the new anime, that is out right now, he comes back with all this story, all this baggage of being a jobber, that his only impressive win was because he cheated, and has one of the best, if not my favorite fight in the whole thing. When Krillin dies and gets brought back, I'm not excited to see him fight, because I know he won't fight, and if he does, it's not gonna be that great. He's not gonna make a cool comeback or actually matter that much. When someone in Kinnikuman comes back, I'm always excited, because of this friendship theme. A lot of the friends of the Justice Chojin actually have good fights that they win. Of course, Kinnikuman is the main character, and as the main character, he usually ends up fighting the big bad, as usual. But everyone else still has their time to shine. Everyone does something to help Kinnikuman by defeating the other characters that are actually strong, allowing Kinnikuman to conserve strength, or allowing Kinnikuman to actually heal from a fight against one of the, let's say, jobbers, quote unquote, like the underlings of the main bad, because they're all actually that strong. But Kinnikuman can't fight all of them. That's where his friends come in. And even in moments where this supposed devil Chojin are like, we are so evil and we will kill you all. In their fight, Kinnikuman is like, you've been out of the ring for almost 20 seconds. On the second 20, you will lose. The devil Chojin is like, oh my god, he's right. I must get back into the ring. Even when the stakes are high, it can be a little silly. And even the designs can be a little silly. Kinnikuman is supposed to be silly, to look like a little bit of a fool, and a little ugly. You already saw Cubeman and T-Pac-Man. You haven't even seen Junkman. Something really fun about Kinnikuman is all these designs. And these aren't original designs. Like, the fighters, the original designs are Kinnikuman, Terryman, and Meat. Everyone else is fan-submitted. Imagine if Vegeta or Piccolo were designs that were fan-submitted to Toriyama, and Toriyama added them to the manga. That's Kinnikuman. Kinnikuman is stupid at times. It's contrived. It has plot holes. Some plot points are added as if they were always there. Someone just comes in with a little exposition saying this was the situation the entire time, by the way, without any regard of what it might contradict. But it's so sincere and honest in believing in friendship, in believing that even if we have to fight, that doesn't mean we can't understand each other, in believing that even the silliest design sometimes deserves the spotlight and a heartfelt fight. All of this together makes Kinnikuman special. To me, Kinnikuman is the epitome of greater than the sum of its parts. It may have issues, it may be the same as it always is with regular battle shonen, but it's still much more than that. And I really hope you give it a chance. And then you watch the Netflix show so Kinnikuman can become more popular. Thank you for watching if you reached here. Hope you have a nice day.